Up to 2000 milligrams of omega-3 and 200 IU vitamin D. That's what's in this little thing. Canned sardines are about the most underrated superfood out there. Most people walk past them at the grocery store without even giving them a second thought. So let me convince you to start stocking up. Let's start with the obvious. Sardines are packed with nutrients. They're one of the richest natural sources of omega-3 fatty acids, especially EPA and DHA. These are the long-chain omega-3s that your body uses to build healthy cell membranes, reduce inflammation, and to support your heart. Just to give you an idea, a single can of sardines has around 1,500 and sometimes up to 2,000 milligrams of omega-3, which is more than what you'd get from most fish oil capsules. And you're getting these fats in a whole food form, along with a bunch of other nutrients and cofactors. On top of that, one can also have around 20 to 25 grams of protein and 150 to 200 IUs of vitamin D, which makes sardines one of the few good natural food sources of vitamin D. The selenium in it will also help counteract the mercury that I will talk about in a second, and you also have vitamin B12, which is essential for energy production and nerve health. Of course, if you decide to also eat the soft fish bones, then you will also get some calcium. I don't do this, but it's definitely an option. Besides this great nutrient profile, sardines have some other pretty big advantages over other fish. The first, and in my opinion the most important one, is that they're fairly low in mercury. This is a concern with all types of seafood, especially big fish like tuna or swordfish. But sardines are tiny and very low on the food chain. They eat plankton and not other fish, so they don't accumulate much mercury. That means you can eat sardines several times per week without worrying too much about the heavy metal buildup. And if you buy sardine fillets without the bones and head, then you will further decrease your intake because metals tend to accumulate there. Now, there will still be some mercury, but if you really want to be cautious, there are several things that you can do to reduce your intake even more. I talk about this in a different video in more detail. Next, they're very cheap and easy to find. Walk into almost any supermarket and you will find canned sardines. They're everywhere and compact in olive oil, water, tomato sauce, mustard, you name it. Also, when it comes to food, they're probably the cheapest source of quality omega-3s that you can find. It can often cost less than $2. Compare that to salmon or quality fish oil supplements, and it's definitely cheaper. Plus, they have a very long shelf life, so you can keep a few cans in your pantry for months or sometimes years and will always have a good backup food. Really, the only downside is because the cans are usually lined with plastics, some of that can leach into the sardines. One study looked at 20 brands from around the world and found that 4 had detectable levels of it. For me personally, this isn't a reason against them though, because plastics are all around us, and the best approach is usually to improve your elimination of them instead of stressing out over every last source. I also talk about this in more detail in a different video. Before I wrap up this video, I should also say that another possible drawback that sometimes is mentioned online is the breakdown of the omega-3 during the canning process. The data on this is very contradictory, and some sources say pretty much all the omega-3 is retained, while others say most of it is destroyed. I personally still eat canned sardines, but if this is a concern for you, see if you can get frozen sardines instead, which would also mitigate this problem. The bottom line is still that if you look at the bigger picture, sardines are hard to beat. They're one of the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet. They give you a bunch of hard-to-get nutrients and are widely available and fairly cheap. If you've never tried them or it's been a while, definitely make sure to give them another shot. Again, if you're worried about the mercury in them, make sure to check the description where I linked related videos on how to mitigate this along with my detox masterclass. It will help you if you're looking for a step-by-step system to optimize your toxin elimination and to avoid the most common beginner mistakes.